So, the Documentation Curators. So a lot has happened actually since a year ago, last Code Garden. If you don't know the curators, it's me from Umbraco HQ. I'm actually here now. I don't know if you can recognize the sombreros I have in the background. And then it's Jevan Leopold, it's Mark Goodson, and it's Demian Peters. And then this year, as a new thing, we've tried something called interns. Well, interns. So it's two girls, and they've joined us curators for 6 months. I think 4 of those months, 3, 4, have passed by now, and that's going really well. So they're trying out being part of a community team. So we know that it's kind of it can feel like a big obligation being part of a community team. So that's why we tried this. It was actually Mark's idea to try out an internship. And we on the team think it's going really well. Sophie Bushra, I know you're on the call. Would you maybe want to say a few words on how you think it's going?
Hi everyone, it's absolutely going amazing. As much as we can mold and get together, and when we work, we do really great stuff. And I know lots of people are actually really complaining about the docs, where it is community thing to do, but it's still, we are really improving fast. So it's going amazing, and amazing people to work with.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And from my background, I haven't got any coding experience myself, so it's been a real baptism of fire to be a part of something like this. But the whole team, like, thank you to Sophie and everyone else. You've made it so easy and so welcoming. And as everyone always says, the Umbraco team and community is just so warm and open and helpful and friendly. And we've really been able to do loads of good work together, and I couldn't be more thankful. And I just wish I could meet you all guys at Code Garden, but hopefully next year we can all get together. But yeah, I'm looking forward to do more with you, because yeah, so far, great guns, loving it.
Oh, thank you, girls. That's so wonderful to hear. It's definitely great to have you girls on the team as well. So what else? Well, so we've today we've actually done a mini. Oh, I've got a visitor. Oh, hello. I think you know. I think you know this one. Anyways, so since last year, we were at most of the documentation team last year was part of the retreat, and they worked on DocFX. There was a presentation on a Friday, Code Garden last year, where they talked about how DocFX would be a new option for a new platform for the documentation. So they've actually been working on that today for our mini retreat, we've called it. We've been working all day today, actually. I don't know, Jevan, do you want to say something on your progress? Yeah, nice.
Sure. So, well, the DocFX story goes back, I guess, 2 years. So two years ago, we actually came to a conclusion that we needed to create a new platform for the documentation. And that was good. We did lots of work around that 2 years ago. And then in the interim between 2 years ago and last year, a lot of investigation was done into different platforms, and DocFX was explored, and particularly at that time DocFX version 2, which is really, really good. So last year we spent a lot of time working on DocFX 2, and we did a demonstration. Jeff did a demonstration at Code Garden last year of actually pretty well working version of that. However, it was one major shortcoming, which is versioning. So with Umbraco documentation, we have a lot of version specific content, so things that only work in version 8.2 and lots of different versioning, and that's something that was really lacking in DocFX 2. However, there was a roadmap for DocFX version 3, and one of its major features is versioning support or moniker support. So we've been watching that repository very closely. Microsoft have had people working on it constantly for the last 18 months. So the objective of DocFX 3 is to effectively replicate and replace docs.microsoft.com. So the objective is to actually be able to support all the stuff that's on Microsoft's own documentation. And they're getting there, but it's still not there. But today we, myself, Damian and Jesper, did some hacking with DocFX 3. And I think we probably have the world's only DocFX 3 project that's actually generating output, because as we discovered, well, we kind of knew it before, but not only did it require one templating engine, we actually required 2 templating engines to actually get it to actually render any sort of HTML to come out. But it was quite interesting, and we were reading lots of issues and lots of different bits of PR comments and things about the progress they've made and how they're going around different issues. So we are quite excited, but it's still not anywhere near ready for us to actually use. But we're certainly looking forward to keeping an eye on it and playing with it again when it gets a bit further along. But some of the very exciting stuff around sort of moniker support looks really, really good. So whereby we can have a section in a piece of documentation that says this section is only for version 8.7.2 or and above, and those types of things. So actually within documents and actually documents themselves. So it's looking fantastic, but still a road to be traveled. So they're getting there, and we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and hopefully we will have more to say about this next year at Code Garden. So fingers crossed on that. Cool. Okay, so I think we're running out of time. Final thing I just wanted to run by you all was another thing that we're working on. So this is what the 2 new interns, Bushra and Sophie, are working on, is creating a new getting started section and creating or defining these sort of personas and create separate, maybe separate getting started section for different kinds of personas would be using the documentation. So we have content editors, implementers, developers, engineers, all these kind of things we're trying to map out to kind of help the whole structure of the documentation, which can be a bit confusing to both new and old Umbraco users right now. So, and of course, final thing. Remember that the documentation is still open source. So during this hackathon today and tomorrow, you're of course more than welcome to help out with the documentation. We can use a lot of help. There's still some stuff that needs to be updated for Umbraco 8. And take a look at the issue tracker on the documentation. There is a lot of community up for grabs in there. So there should be a lot of stuff to get you started for contributing. Yeah, I think that was what we had in the team. Guys, girls, anything else I need to add? No?
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. Well, that was all for the Documentation Curators then.